Stepping up in the world of depths, here we go. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'll be sharing my experience on the Shanling M3X. This is a $370 mid-level DAP, so I'm very curious how this DAP steps up from the budget level and elevate my experience. But before we dive deeper into that, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Melbourne Hi-Fi Audio for sending this unit as a loaner for me to test and feature this product, so I really appreciate it. However, as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own and are not influenced by any parties. The unboxing experience is pretty simple, sliding the nice blue box out of the sleeve. Opening it, you'll be greeted by the device itself. Underneath you have all the manuals, and it also comes with two screen protectors with one that already comes pre-installed, which is always nice to have extras. They also provided you with the USB-C charging cable, braided too, so that's nice from the standard rubber sleeve that you get from others. For the design of the M3X, think the M0 Pro but in a bigger size. Powder coated in the dark grey, hard lines, and some indents from your typical square box to give it a bit of shape, and also a place for you to grip the device. You've got the volume knob on the top right corner, you've got 3 buttons on the left side for pause, play, forward and backwards track. You've got the 3.5 and 4.4mm output at the top, so no need to buy a converter like you need for the M0 Pro, and you have the USB-C port at the bottom for charging and DAC connection. You've got the glass back with branding on it. It's very simple design, but like the M0 Pro, it's a sleek one. Despite the size, it actually feels very lightweight. It's like holding an iPhone 4 kind of weight, but just bigger in size, but the weight means that you can bring this around without feeling like you're lugging a brick around. One issue I found was that this device's SD card tray seems to be loose, so it's constantly falling out when you're shaking it, which is unfortunate. If you get the protecting case, then it'll hold into place, but if you choose to go without one, then if your device has this issue, then it's quite a hassle. I hope it's just a QC issue for my particular device rather than a common occurrence, but man, does it not want to stay in place. If you want to spice things up a bit with the looks and give it a bit of protection, you can purchase the case as well. It's a shame it comes separately, and while it doesn't really offer a lot of fall protection, it'll at least cover the edges and the back from being banged up. It's got this fall leather look and feel to it, and you've got this X at the back with some texture for grip and feel, I guess. A nice case with a bit of flair if you found the base design on the dollar side, but I like them both either way. So switching the device, you'll be greeted by the opening screensaver. This device houses an older generation of Android. When I say old, it's just like 3 years old, but old in technology age. It has a 4.2-inch IPS panel with a resolution of 768 by 1280. 356 pixel density per inch, so it's a HD panel, so don't be expecting some AMOLED super sharp kind of display, but it's clear enough and the interface is relatively smooth at times. It doesn't have that 90Hz refresh rate kind of smoothness, but it's fine. But you do get some of that old Android choppiness when it's doing a lot of things at once. My previous gripe with the Shanling M0 Pro is still present on the M3X, where there is no dedicated back button, but there are 1 or 2 apps that have a back button, but other apps you have to pretty much use that swipe up or swipe from left of the screen function to go back. If you've used any Android smartphone, the experience will remain largely the same. Pressing and holding the main screen takes you to the home screen setting, where add widgets from the selections, though a bit limited. You can move your apps around to the page you desire. On the first screen, you have the Shanling player, which we'll dive more into later, as this is all the magic that is happening with your music. At stock, they give you the clock app, Shanling player, setting and support app at the bottom. On the second page, you have a few pre-installed softwares. The support app is used to contact support, but also for firmware update when this is connected to the internet. And just running through the settings, it won't be as extensive as your typical smartphone, but it's got enough for this particular device, where you can toggle the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connection, display control, where you can adjust the brightness levels, wallpaper, adjust sleep time, and also adjust the font size if it's too small for your eyes. There's even an audio setting where you can select the outputs, select which particular filter you like to use, but there's only 2. Adjust the gain setting, adjust the single-ended setting, adjust channel balance, boot selection of codecs, boot volume, max volume so you never blow out your ears, adjust wireless playback quality from the selections of codecs it supports, but I'm pretty sure it'll be set to what your gear can support as well. And you even have AirPlay for the Apple users. Going back to the main settings, you can check how much memory you have left, battery level, how much memory is being used by your apps, and in the general setting you can adjust navigation mode, adjust the scheduled power off, key lock setting where it locks which button when the screen is off to avoid accidental touches, double tap for screen on toggle, show volume toggle, gesture screenshot toggle, USB audio fixed volume toggle, I'm guessing for when you can connect this as a DAC, and also vehicle mode. Then the rest is pretty similar to an Android or any phone where you can adjust the security level, manage Google accounts, language, backup and reset, date and time, and etc. I like how it feels like a phone so you don't get too lost in the interface, but just without all the other smartphone features to draw the line between a phone and a dApp. So going back to some of the apps that are installed in this device, files and galleries are pretty self-explanatory for your transferred images or music files. Via is pretty much this device's Google Chrome, where you can use this for web browsing. Then you have the cool APK, which unfortunately comes preset in Chinese, so I don't use this. And they have another app called APK Pure for the English users, and this is where you download your other apps like Spotify, Google Chrome, Instagram. One thing I like to note, when I first started using this device, the APK Pure wasn't updating any apps or downloading any apps, so I had to upgrade the firmware. I had to uninstall the APK Pure, reinstall the APK file online through Via, and then things started downloading again. Also, this device depends heavily on your internet connection, and some of the update files can be huge, so when I used an inferior connection it kept cutting off, so I had to switch it around to get a more stable connection. It was a little tedious at first to get the ball rolling, but once it's there, that's where all the fun starts, because you can download a lot of the apps like Instagram, Spotify, even YouTube, but of course using those social media apps will not have the same buttery smoothness, speedy experience as your phone, but at least you can use this device for that. Swiping down gives you 5 options to choose from, but you can swipe down again for the full options available, and at the top you have a brightness slider to adjust the levels on the go. You have the Wi-Fi setting, Bluetooth, adjusting PO and LO, adjusting gain setting, go straight to audio setting instead of through the main setting, adjust single or dual for the DAC, AirPlay. You can even adjust between Android mode and what they're calling the Prime mode, and on Prime mode is essentially removing any aspect of the smartphone feeling from this device and just converting it to be a dedicated music player. But don't worry, if you want to adjust, just swipe down again and press the button to switch it. You can adjust the USB mode to be either for file transfer or in DAC mode, take a screenshot or screen off, which I'm guessing is handy if the button ever becomes faulty. Swiping up and hold shows you all the open apps where you can close all of them, again similar to an Android phone. So going back to the Shanling player, if you've seen the M0 Pro and its dedicated music player, it's pretty much the same thing but with a bit more features. Like you can even search servers for your songs, Wi-Fi transfer, sync link. So if you transfer your music files into your device, this is where you go to start playing your tunes. And when I say a bit more features, you do get a bit more playroom, like being able to change the music player theme and skins, a few setting adjustments to make the music player play better for your personal experience, and of course the 10-band EQ. The Shanling M3X is rated to have a battery life of about 20 hours depending on what settings you have it on. On my first day with all the software update and installation, I got to about halfway through the battery towards the evening, but on a normal day, if you're just playing music for 4 hours a day, depending on which output as well, you can go to about 5 days before you need to reach the cable. It's also rated to provide 240 milliwatts of output power from the balanced output, which is about 10 milliwatts more than the Shanling M0 Pro if you have the balanced output converter for that device, but on this device you have a separate dedicated balanced output. But all I'm saying is that it's enough to drive most of your headphones and IEMs, but may still have limitations on really high impedance headphones or power hungry gears. In terms of how it sounds or affects sound, I feel Shanling products always has this warm characteristics to sound, at least from my experience, but I honestly wasn't able to tell much difference between the M0 Pro and the M3X, aside from maybe the bass sounding a bit more controlled, but it could be the settings. However, as an overall, your gears will sing, and I typically use a colder sounding gear to pair up with the Shanlings. Unfortunately, I do not have any other mid-level DAPs to compare this, as this is my first ever mid-level DAP, so comparing it with other budget level DAPs, you're essentially getting a bigger brother to the Shanling M0 Pro in terms of overall experience, with the support of APK download and the Android experience, so you can use it to download other apps that is not available in the budget range. It sacrifices size for comfort of use with the buttons and inputs and different distances and location, but if you're not into EQ or not too fussed about not having Spotify or Tidal, then the Shanling M0 Pro does the job. Or if you just want Wi-Fi support and Tidal, then Hebe R1 does that. Or if you want a fusion of the two, then that comes in the form of the Shanling M3X. So in summary, I've always been being curious about the next step up, and now that I'm here, the Shanling M3X has given me even more curiosity about the next level, because at this level I already have all that I need for music enjoyment, including using online streaming services such as Spotify or Tidal, and it can power most of my gears. But I guess I'm curious to know which level can power all of it, like really high impedance headphones. But even at this age, the Shanling M3X delivers a really nice experience for anyone wanting to step up from their budget experiences. And this is all made possible once again because of Melbourne Hi-Fi Audio, so huge appreciation there. Don't forget to check out the link and let me know in the comment section down below what is your favorite mid-level dep that I should try out. Until the next video, thank you very much for watching, take care and happy listening.